The first time I decided I needed to get some magnesium, I went to the pharmacy and asked for, wait for it, magnesium. Mission accomplished, right? Well, not quite. It took me a while before I learned that there are actually several types of magnesium. And now that I think of it, the pharmacist never even bothered to ask me which one. Anyway, after a while, I became a bit wiser, and I realized that absorption was important, that we could be gulping tons of vitamins and minerals, but if they aren't absorbed properly, then we're basically creating premium urine. So I started buying marine magnesium instead, for better absorption. I thought I had nailed it, but then again I realized there was a catch. It's not a single type, and it's usually a blend of natural magnesium salts where absorption can still vary. And then finally I learned about the different types of magnesium and which one serves which purpose. So in a bit we're going to go through that, but I also wanted to guide you towards the right type of supplement for some of the most common ones that we actually take, so that you can be a bit smarter than I used to be. Because you could be buying something and thinking it will change your life, and then nothing happens. So now you'll start understanding why. Okay, let's break down some of the biggest culprits, the supplements where the form really matters. So we were talking about magnesium, right? We'll start with that one. Magnesium is amazing for sleep, stress, muscles, but only if we pick the right one. There's magnesium glycinate, which is calming, good for sleep and anxiety. There's magnesium malate, good for energy and muscle recovery. There's magnesium threonate for brain health. And then there's magnesium oxide, which is basically like a bathroom ticket. It mostly acts as a laxative, not much else. I only realized today that I've probably been making the mistake of taking malate at night when I should be taking glycinate instead to help with sleep. I guess I'm still learning, and I have a feeling my magnesium experimentation is not quite over yet. Anyway, next, vitamin D. Vitamin D keeps our bones, immunity and mood in check. But vitamin D3 is the natural form we make from sunlight. Then we have vitamin D2, which is like the knockoff version. It's shorter acting and less effective, so try to avoid that one. And then again, as much as possible, get your daily dose directly from sunlight. Synthetic vitamin D3 can be helpful, but not ideal long term. And if possible, pair it with vitamin K2. Those two go well together. And since we are into K2, go for MK7, not MK4. The next one is vitamin B12. This one is huge for energy and for our nervous system. For that one, go for methylcobalamin, which is the active form our body loves. There's also cyanocobalamin, which is the cheap synthetic type. It can work, but our body has to do some extra work to convert it, so again, avoid it if possible. Next is omega-3s. Fish oil can be incredible for brain, heart and inflammation, but the form matters. Triglyceride or phospholipid form like krill oil are better absorbed. Then you have ethyl ester form, the common standard version, which is less bioavailable. Think of it like this. There's traditional cod liver oil, which is like a classic acoustic guitar, all natural. But most supermarket fish oils are cheap electric guitars. Louder, yes, but not as smooth. And the best quality oils, like krill oil, are like professional instruments, pricier, but you really feel the difference. Next, we have turmeric, also sometimes referred to as curcumin. We see this everywhere now, but here's the thing. Plain turmeric powder is hardly absorbed. It needs black pepper. I think the extract is called piperin, or special formulations like phytosome, meriva, to actually get into our system. It's ideally also taken with milk. Otherwise, if we're not doing those things, we're just seasoning our insides. Next one is iron. For people low in iron, the form makes a big difference. Ferrous bisglycinate is gentle and absorbable. Ferrous sulfate is cheap but often causes stomach pain and constipation. Next one is calcium. We usually think, like I used to think for magnesium, calcium is calcium. But nope, calcium citrate is easier to absorb, especially if stomach acid is low. Then we have calcium carbonate. Let's just say it works best if you have the stomach of a teenager. Also, when it comes to calcium, to ensure it goes to our bones and not in our arteries, it needs to be paired with magnesium, vitamin D and vitamin K2. Next one is CoQ10. This is important for energy, especially as we age. Ubiquinol is the active form, much better absorbed. Ubiquinone is cheaper but weaker, especially for older folks. Next one is folate, also called vitamin B9. The active form is methyl folate, also called 5-MTHF. And then we have folic acid, which many of us can't really convert properly due to genetics. Next one is zinc. We have picolinate, citrate and glycinate. Our body actually absorbs these. And then we have zinc oxide, and let's just say it's not the best investment. Finally, I kept the best for last, my friends, bacteria. Okay, when it comes to probiotics, it's not always about the number of bacteria, it's about the strain. A label saying 20 billion CFUs doesn't mean much if it's the wrong type. Different strains do different jobs. Some are great for digestion, some help immunity, others may influence mood. Since there are so many of them, I won't be going into the details here. You can dig further if you're interested. Also, probiotics are not something I would do long term. I would rather rely on fermented foods or just breathing the air in natural forests. So yeah, supplements can be powerful, but only if we choose the right form. Otherwise, it's just expensive pee. The list I gave you is obviously not exhaustive. It's mostly meant to help you develop a reflex so that for every supplement you're thinking of getting, you remember to pause for a second and ask yourself whether there are different types, and if that's the case, then which one has the best absorption rate, and also whether different types actually serve different purposes. Also, let's not forget, supplements aren't replacements for good food, sleep, sunlight, grounding, or nurturing happy feelings. They are more like backup singers, not the lead performer. So, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more stories of how I screwed up in the past with my health experiments. Bye.